Hi, this is Mr. N going over your Chapter 12A test on factoring and solving. This was on April 5th, 2017. This is version A. Question number 1, true or false. Question number 3 below has a greatest common factor. So look at number 3. You'll recognize that all of these numbers here are even. And if you break them up into factors, you'll recognize that my greatest factor is 2. So that is true. Question number 2 is multiple choice. It says factor completely. You have r squared plus r minus 20. This is in descending order. A value is 1, so there's the 1 in front. B value is also 1, and C value is negative 20. A times C, two numbers that multiply to be negative 20 are, and B value is 1. Two numbers that multiply to be negative 20 are 5 and negative 4, and those also add to be positive 1. Take 5 and negative 4. Put it here and here. Make sure to add your variable, which is the r. Your a value goes there, and your c value goes there. So this would be r times r gives you r squared. R times something gives you 5r, so that would be a 5. It's like the multiplication tables. 4 times r gives you, negative 4 times r gives you negative 4r, and negative 4 times 5 is negative 20. So these up here will become your factors, r minus 4 and r plus 5, which is letter choice A. Question number 3, you recognize that they're all evens. You realize that your 2 is your greatest common factor right there. And now this is your a value is 1, b value is negative 1, and your c value is negative 6. A times c, this is your b value. Two numbers that multiply to be negative 6 are 2 and negative 3, and those add to be negative 1. If you recognize that your a value is 1, then you only have to do the x, you don't have to do the box. And so your answers are x plus 2, x minus 3, and the GCF of a 2. Okay. Number 4, you were asked to change the problem to x squared minus x equals 42, and to solve this. So the difference about solving is you have to use the zero product rule. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set this equal to 0. I'm going to subtract 42 from both sides. And then you'll get x squared minus x minus 42. A value is 1, b value is negative 1, and c value is negative 42. A times c, b value. Two numbers that multiply to be negative 42 are negative 7 and 6, and those add to be negative 1. Remember, you don't have to use the box if a is equal to 1. That was the trick. Take these values. Those are your binomials. The zero product rule, set them equal to 0. You'll get 7 and negative 6, which is D. Question number 5, factor completely. I have x squared minus 4. So remember, there's no b term. Standard form says ax squared plus bx plus c. So you don't have a b term because there's no x there. Your c value is negative 4. Put in a 0x like we did in class. A value is 1, b value is 0, c value is negative 4. A times c is negative 4, b value is 0. Two numbers that multiply to be negative 4, those two numbers are positive 2 and negative 2. And those same two numbers, when you add them together, equals 0. Remember, anytime your b value is 0, these two numbers are going to be exactly opposites. One's positive, one's negative. So those two values, x plus 2, x minus 2 are here, and that's their choice B. Question C says factor 2x squared plus 7x plus 6. A value is 2, b is 7, c is 6. A times c is 12, b value is 7. Two numbers that multiply to be 12 are 3 and 4, and they also add to be 7. So you'll notice that 3 and 4 go in the bottom left and the top right. Your a value always goes in the top left, and your c value goes in the bottom right there. Then you're just trying to solve this puzzle. 2x, you can't put the 2 up here because you have a 3 here. So 2x and x gives you 2x squared. 2x times 2 gives you 4x. X times 3 gives you 3x. And 3 times 2 will give you 6. So your answer is x plus 2 and 2x plus 3. There were 6 multiple choice questions. So that each of those were 2 points, so that's 12. And then now you're getting 2 points for writing your name clearly, first and last name. 1 point for circling correct the period. So that side is worth 15. Back side. Here I have factoring completely. Again, you have x squared minus 64, which essentially means that you need to write your b value, x squared plus 0x minus 64. And a value 1, b is 0, c is negative 64. A times c is negative 64, b value is 0. And you have plus 8 and minus 8. Again, you don't need to do the box, but if you did it, you'll actually get the same results. Now, this is my answer here. I'll give you 2 points if you got, say, one of those. So if you wrote x plus 8, that's incorrect. Let's just say you solved it. I gave you 3 out of 4 points. Remember, this problem does say factor completely. Question number 8 says identify the a, b, and c. Well, if you notice that this is not set equal to 0. To set it equal to 0, you'll have to subtract 9 from both sides. A is 1, b is 8, c is negative 9. Remember, a, b's, and c's are coefficients, or just numbers in front of the variable. You should not have an x squared there. Do not put an x there. And you use your x method, a times c. There's your b value. Think of the two numbers. You might want to write them all out if needed. And my two numbers are 9 and negative 1. Now this one says solve. So even though I put x plus 9, x minus 1, I'm going to do the zero product rule, which essentially says one of those numbers must be 0. So you set it equal to 0. Subtract 9, x equals 9, x equals positive 1. Okay. Question number 9, I think, was back on your original quiz. You have 3x cubed minus 5x squared plus 2x. Recognize that you can't factor this because it has the power of 3, right? We're only factoring quadratics or anything that's quadratic-like to the power of 2, which gives you a hint. So if you wrote out the factors, expand it, you'll realize that they have an x in common. If they have an x in common, that's your GCF here. Once you do that, you have 3x squared left, 5 and an x, and 2. These become your a, b, and c. A times c is 6. B value is a negative 5. There's a mistake I have right there. There should be a minus sign. I have it here correctly. And two numbers that multiply and be positive 6, but add to be negative 5 is negative 2 and negative 3. Remember, you're going to take those two values, put them here. Your a value, which is right here, that goes in the top left. And your c value goes right there. So essentially the x is splitting your b value in half. You're going to get 3x minus 2 and x minus 1 when you figure out the box. And don't forget the GCF there. So in this problem, I awarded you 3 points. If you solve this x correctly, you had negative 2 and negative 3 there, and you had the GCF, 3 points. Or if you did all of this correct and you forgot the x there, you still got 3 points. If you just did this part correct, you got 2 points. Here's a quick reminder of how you factor and solve. So this part would be factoring, and this part right here would be solve. And the last question, number 10, says factor completely. Essentially, if you look at this problem, the very first thing you should be thinking about is the greatest common factor. This problem does not ask me to solve, so I don't have to set it equal to 0. They're both even, so 4 times 8, 8 times 1, GCF of an 8. Now, if you just get a normal GCF, such as a 4, it is a common factor, but not the greatest one. I gave you 2 points. You now write what's left in there, 4 times x times x. Now, a lot of students wrote nothing here. They just wrote 8 times 4x squared. Well, we're going to learn in chapter 13, if you multiply or distribute, there has to be something there to get the negative 8. Well, that's a 1, negative 1. Now, I did offer extra credit. I'm not sure. I don't think any student got it. Right here, you actually have a difference of squares. You can actually put 0x in there and factor, and you'll get this. So that was extra credit. And the two answers were fill in the blanks with one of the school's student learning capacities, SLCs. I gave you a hint, A and P accountable, so you are academically and personally accountable. That side was worth 19 points, 2 points for the extra credit, so a total of 19. And if you add 15 plus 19, you get 34 points. Hope that was helpful for you and your understanding.